Hello, hello, hello. Hello there, my family, my soul family. How's everyone doing this evening? Waiting for this connection to happen. Waiting for this connection to happen. Let's see here. Having a little, I'm on YouTube live, but I need to now go to IG live, right? And I'm trying to get IG live to work. Let's see here if it behaves this time. Because we're still in Mercury retrograde. And it seems like we are live on IG now as well. I know we're live on YouTube, but we are also live on IG. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Roll right in into the spiritual, magical, soul family hotspot. Because this is what's going to have to be. It's going to be a hot spot. It's going to be a hot spot. Okay. Awesomeness. I am excited to welcome, checking in. Everyone is checking in. I love it. I've already messaged my goddaughter, Magda, and I know she is on standby because I can see her on my YouTube live. I haven't brought her in. I haven't turned her camera on my end, but I see her face there. And I'm about to bring her on live on IG as well. I just want to allow a couple of more people to roll in. And as you guys do that, I want to tell you a little bit of the fact that, this live, it comes from a place of transparency. It comes from a place of vulnerability as well, because it's something that we are not used to. We are not used to vulnerability. So therefore, women are not used to vulnerability because women have been forced by the patriarchal society that we are in to have to be strong. And unless they're not strong, something is wrong. Men have never been vulnerable because we were never taught to have a relationship with vulnerability because we see it as a sign of weakness, right? So this live that we are about to do comes from a place of transparency and vulnerability. Okay, roll right in. Let your followers share this live in this moment, and let your followers know that we are live and that we are going to have a nice, beautiful talk about shadow energy. This is Shadow Talk. Okay, I'm getting ready to bring in Miss Magda, owner of Gypsy Love Metaphysical Shop. And most importantly for me, she is my beloved, beautiful goddaughter, a godchild that I hold dear in my heart. We're of Elegba in the Oricha Lukumi tradition, and someone who is a spiritual force as well herself, and I've gone live with her many times in the past. We have a lot of mutual followers, so you know who Magda is. But for those of you that don't, from my end, from my page, that's why I am explaining this and letting you all know. So that being said, let me bring on Miss Magda. And there she is on YouTube. And let me see if I can find her on IG. I need to find her on IG. Where is she on IG? She is right here. She is right here. Come on, IG. Behave. Behave. Okay, did I forget how to bring people on IG? Because it's been a while since we've brought.
Should I send you a request?
Let me see. Oh no, I just saw it here. Okay, send a request. So I have sent a request. Uh, there we are, and we are live.
Good
But I,
evening.
but I hear an echo. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. Okay, my soul family, we are live. Woo! We are live on YouTube and we are live on IG. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, my goddaughter. How are you?
I am I am good. I am holding my breath a little. We're going to talk about some goodies, I'm sure. So, I'm leaving it in the hands of spirit.
Sounds good.
We're working, we're healing.
I hear you. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Hold on 1 second.
Do you all?
I'm hearing an echo. I don't know if you have volume on both.
I hear an echo too. I turned it down. Well, I turned down my laptop where I am live streaming for YouTube. I don't know if I can bring down.
There, I think that's better.
See if I can bring down.
There, I think that's better. No. There, I think that's better. No.
Okay. Let's see here. Does it still sound bad here? I hear the echo. Let's see, how do we do this?
I think that's better. He's not wearing earbuds. I need, hold on a second. He turned off his volume on. Let me troubleshoot this. Lower this volume here for me. Let me switch. I can. Okay, I can hear you now, and I can hear you well.
Can YouTube hear me? Let me know if YouTube can hear me. I know we have Matt on here and when Sacred. Can you all shoot me a message and let me know if you can still listen to me? Listen to us, actually. I think not because I muted myself on YouTube.
Yeah, so if you're muted on YouTube, they're not going to hear you. You can unmute yourself but turn down the volume on the device that you have YouTube on.
Okay.
Thanks for your patience, guys.
Can you still hear me, YouTube? Mr. Matt and When Sacred, shoot me a message and let me know if you can still hear me. Awesome. So they say we're good. They say we're good. So here we are. Here we are. Tonight, my beloved soul family, I want to speak with Magda. I don't want to talk to my goddaughter. I want to talk to Magda. And tonight, Magda, contrary, um, contrary to in the past where we've come together many, many, many times on here, um, today I want Magda, not Magda the channeler, not Magda the healer, and not Magda that is downloading messages for the collective, because this is not for messages for the collective. This is about you as a human being, you as a vessel, but not for the collective, for you, for you. Magda had the opportunity, and I am grateful that she was able to participate in the shadow work retreat that we just had in Sedona. Normally, whenever I have an event, whenever I'm doing something, she participates, but she's also, the my second hand, and she's also the one that's trying to, do support me in what I do. But she was able to fully dive into this shadow work retreat, and I want to have a perspective, but I also want each and every one of you to have a better understanding of the things that we should be doing as human beings for ourselves on this earth to become a better vessel, to become a better parent, to become a better sister, to become a better son and daughter, to become a better partner, to become a better human being overall. I believe this particular shadow work that we participated in, because even though I facilitated it, it was also a shadow work for me. Um, I believe that this particular shadow work granted us the opportunity to really dive deep within within the bedrock of our soul, to understand parts of us that we were either ignoring, rejecting, denying, lying to ourselves about, or not even aware. Or probably we didn't even have an understanding of certain things within us. So, um, how are you feeling?
I am in the middle of the storm, in the middle of a tornado, in the calm center of all the things that have come up, of all the revelations, of all the new versions and new desires of what I want to, with a lot of work and good willing, incorporate into my life. This was monumental, and so I'm not out of it. I'm not out of it. I'm in it every day. So that's how I am. That's how I am today.
I hear you. I hear you. And that being said, that being said, going into the shadow work, going into the shadow work retreat, that special weekend we all had, what parts of it did you not expect? And once you got there and we jumped into it, you felt or saw or understood or got the download that I'm here and this is real. Even though I do feel, based on conversations that we had prior to, you already felt it real and you were already committed to whatever it was that was going to go down. There was already a part of you that was getting ready to do or embark on a journey, however spirit wanted to reveal it to you. But once you were there, what is it? What part of you might have said, "Oh shit"?
I don't know how many of our retreat sisters are here. I feel like they were like, yeah, in my answer. We all thought it was going to be something. We all thought, well, we've been through the ancestral healing, and maybe some healing with the voices meditation. And you're right. The work started way before, a couple of weeks before the retreat actually took place. And you are prepared to deal, or so you think.
Yeah.
And there was the second
second
night,
night,
late at
late
night,
at night,
where
where
you
you
used a
used a
phrase
phrase
and you
and you
said,
said,
you are
you
doing
are doing
selective
selective
healing.
healing.
You're
You're
picking and
picking and
choosing what you
choosing what you
want to
want
deal
to
with.
deal with.
So
So
even the
even
part
the
of
part of
me that
me
went
that went
in with
in with
bells
bells
on,
on,
ready to
ready to
tackle the
tackle
work,
the work,
when you
when
said
you
that
said that
statement,
statement,
and I
and I
understood
understood
because
because
of all the
of
work
all
we
the
were
work we were
doing during
doing
the
during the
day.
day,
That
that
turned
turned
me, it
me, it
ripped me
ripped me
inside
inside
out, and I
out,
could
and I
no
could
longer
no longer
contain.
contain.
And that's
And
when the
that's when the
floodgates
floodgates
came in.
came in.
And
And
I was
I
not
was not
prepared.
prepared.
There was
There was
nothing that could
nothing
have
that could have
prepared me.
prepared me.
And if I can have the liberty to say something and you ask me,
don't
don't be the
be the
goddaughter, don't be
goddaughter, don't be
the
the
clairvoyant,
clairvoyant,
don't
don't
be
be
the
the
healer right
healer
now.
right now.
But I'm
But I'm
telling you,
telling
as a
you, as a
woman who
woman
has
who has
been on her
been on her
spiritual
spiritual
journey for
journey
30
for 30
years,
years,
as a
as
woman
a
who
woman who
initiated
initiated
into
into
ATR,
ATR,
even my
even my
initiation
initiation
did
did
not
not
provoke
provoke
or
or
give
give
me
me
what this
what
retreat
this
gave
retreat
me.
gave me.
And
Sure.
I
I
understand
understand
the
the
intensity
intensity
of my
of my
statement.
statement.
That
That
doesn't mean
doesn't
that
mean
with
that
my
with my
initiations,
initiations,
it's a
it's a
whole
whole
box
box
of
of
huge
huge
life
life
altering
altering
things.
things.
But as
But
much
as
as I
much as
was
I was
giving in my
giving in my
initiation,
initiation,
I
I
wasn't
wasn't
prepared. I
prepared.
didn't have
I
the
didn't
tools
have
to
the tools to
understand
understand
what
what
Orisha was
Orisha was
giving me or
giving me
what
or
they
what they
wanted.
wanted.
I was
I
living in a
was
separate
a
illusion,
separate
and
illusion.
that old me processed that ceremony and
Ceremony
everything
and
after
everything
that a certain way.
Yes. Yeah.
But after this retreat, where I had nowhere to hide, where I had to decide if I wanted to live or die, it changed
It changed
everything.
everything.
And if I'm
And if I'm
really
being
honest,
honest,
I've cried
I've cried
every
every
single
single
day
day
since my
since my
return,
return,
with the
with the
exception of
exception of
today,
today,
only because I
only
was
because
so
I was so
busy that I
busy
could
that I
not
could
afford
not
the
afford the
time to
time to
journal and do
journal
what I
and do
was
what I
doing.
was doing.
That's why I
That's
say
why I
I'm in the
say I'm in
middle
the
of it.
middle of it.
I believe you. I believe you. And you know what I'm getting from that? I'm getting that there's a part of us that has to be willing to simply surrender. We have to surrender. When we go into um, ATRs, African traditional religions, and religious practices, when we go into African spirituality, we should go into it with the willingness to surrender. But we are so immersed with the ceremonial aspect of it. We are then impacted with the ritualistic aspect of what we are allowing ourselves to be part of. Okay, and then many of us go into African spirituality with a certain level of expectations. Okay, that it doesn't really allow us to surrender, to really allow the energy of Orisha to do the magic that it has the ability to do. Why? Because, in my opinion, as a spiritual, religious, and Orisha practitioner, and also a priest of various ATRs, when we go into these practices, we have people there that are basically feeding us what we need to hear at that particular moment in time. We are at the mercy of someone else, of an elder. We are at the mercy of other elders. We're at the mercy of what I usually refer to as the master of ceremony, which is the Obali Oriate, who reads our life, our do's, our don'ts, our prohibitions. But in the way it goes down, we are not asked to surrender. We're not asked to surrender. We are not asked to tap into the deepest level of our soul. We're just going through a ritual. We're going through a ceremony in hopes that our ego gets fed. Because we don't say this, and unless you're a child that gets initiated at a very, very, very young age, um, when you go into it as an adult, when you go into it at 18 years old, when you go into it at 21 years old, you go in it with your ego. You go in it with your ego versus what are they going to tell me? Or, or what is it that I'm going to get out of this that will support the things that I want so that I can get my way? Or the many, many, many others, and this is not, well, was definitely wasn't me, and I don't believe it was you either. But there's a huge, especially in this current day and age with the current climate, there's a huge amount of people that go into it because they want to be famous or they want to be someone else's godparent and they want to boss all the people around and they want to be hot shots and they want to, live off of this and thinking that they're going to become rich. But this particular shadow work that we did, there's no spoon feeding. There's nothing that's going to be given to you so that you can go rule someone else or govern over someone else or become rich because you're going to go into initiation that gives you the tools and authority to then become someone else's initiator or what have you. This shadow work was more about look at yourself in the mirror and say the truth of who you are. Look at yourself in the mirror and accept who you are. Look at yourself in the mirror, okay, and stop denying what you've been dragging, what you've been hiding, what you've been dealing with, what you've been traumatized by. You had to be able to accept your traumas.
You know what I discovered? That for me, I discovered that there are layers and layers and layers of denial, shielding, illusions, self-absorbed gratification, things that we seek. What I walked away with knowing is that I repaired my world for 50 years. Let's just not say 50 because I was a child that was getting molded. But let's just say 40 years. Or let's just start when I was a teenager. 35 years. I spent 35 years being an architect of my life. Defending myself, protecting myself, chasing love, revisiting patterns, going to therapy, seeking religion and spirituality to fix myself. All the while having a false image of myself, a false narrative, my dramatic and emotional, self-serving narrative. So that I can continue to blame my sadness, my weakness, my perceived painful failures, my traumas, and my excuses on others.
Mm-hmm.
So even though, and I'm working today with very black and white aspects, I'm not completely tearing myself down and coming from a victim mentality. On the contrary, I am visiting black and white, but I need to know to live 35 years in a narrative that served me. I don't know who I am. I just know who I want to be now. I want to get away and re-examine who I was and make new choices. Because what I discovered from doing this work is that I labeled ego so many different facets. I said ego. I didn't know it was ego. I thought I was humble. I thought I was blessed. I thought I was grateful. I thought I was spiritual. I thought I was considerate. I thought there was hope and faith. I thought I was charitable to others. I thought I was a servant of spirit, a vessel of spirit. And I am, and I love spirit. But I did it in my version. And in my version, I still had trauma, and I still have broken relationships with siblings, and I still judge people, and I think that people are ungrateful, and all of these versions, all of this story. And I thought I had apologized to all the people that deserved apologies. In that narrative, in that ego, those were only select few. Who I am now, realizing from that retreat that I was so busy still living the legacy of my history and of my past, that I wasn't filling my cup with my happiness, that I wasn't being responsible for my choices and my perception and my will to live. That's why it's changed my life.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. And you know, when I hear you speak, I get so many different messages in this particular moment. I hear messages that says that our shadow work is more about us seizing control, because that's what it was, seizing control. We spend a life controlling things, controlling our narrative, controlling what we give, controlling how we do, controlling what people see in us, controlling how we put ourselves out there, controlling how we show up in relationships, controlling how we communicate, controlling every aspect of our life. But it is in this process of shadow that we are able to really confront the truth that's within, so that we can let the light that's within also shine. Because unless you go into the darkness, you cannot really allow the light to come through. So it's so, to me, it's so beautiful that you are able to gather all this and have this understanding and have this self-awareness, because that's really what self-awareness is. Understanding where you fell off and what is it that you failed to do and haven't done or haven't been ready to do or didn't want to do or didn't want to accept, so that then you can really embrace the totality of who you are without guilt, without shame, without judgment. Because those are three areas. In order for us to really dive deep into our shadow, we have to do it in a way that's free from guilt, shame, and judgment, because we have to see ourselves as a whole, so that we don't pick parts of us that we say, oh, I'm proud of this, but I'm not proud of that. No, we got to see the whole picture. The whole picture. Shadow allows us to see the whole picture. I wonder, during your shadow work, and even because the shadow work wasn't just, as I keep saying, it wasn't just weekend. The shadow work started when we left. The shadow work started when we left. That laid that foundation, but the shadow work continues, right? Is there a part of you? Is there a part of you that we left from YouTube? There we are. Is there a part of you that you accept now that you were about yourself, that you were in denial of before?
So many.
Okay.
So many parts. The size of my ego, for one. The what crushed me was to realize that I was not as compassionate as I thought I was.
Mm-hmm.
To realize that I consider myself a pretty humble person and pretty willing to be of service. What I didn't see was that in that I was doing it so I could feel good about myself, so that I could feel useful, so that I could feel loved, so that I could feel right, so that like, and I'm not walking away with what I gave was fake. I didn't know that it was an exchange, that I didn't know it was ego. You know, and so rediscovering, that I'm miss nurturing myself, that I am self-serving in a way that I didn't mean to,
and
and that
that
is
is
unjust to my
unjust to my
spiritual
spiritual
practice
practice
and to my
and to my
mission, to
mission,
my
to my
purpose in
purpose in
life.
life.
I still
I
have a
still
lot
have
of
a lot
heart.
of
I
heart. I
still
still
meant
meant
well.
well.
But my
But my
self-care
self-care
needed to come
needed to
from
come from
others, and I
others,
needed
and
to
I needed to
validate
validate even while I was trying to be of service,
instead of
instead of
taking care
taking
of
care of
myself and
myself
letting
and letting
go
go
of
of
others'
others'
visions of
visions
me.
of me.
No
No
wonder
wonder
I live
I live
exhausted and
exhausted and
grumpy
grumpy
and burnt
and
out.
burned out.
Yes, 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 yes. And that could be also because, needless to say, there's so many parts of us that we exhaust in the process. And when we exhaust those areas of us, we don't have enough energy to really show up in areas where we need to be fully 100% present. Okay. So we keep giving and keep giving and giving and giving, but we're not putting back into us because we are exhausting the little that we have, the little that we have, which is the little that we try to show our best side of. It's the one that's being used to give to others. So at the end of the night, at the end of the week, we don't have much left for ourselves. We don't have.
You know what Spirit said to me? And I was already sharing this because I went on live about 5 minutes before I joined you to tell whoever logged on to come join us. And they told me, Spirit said, you are
you are
living
living
waiting to
waiting
die.
to die.
Mm-hmm.
And that means
That
that
means
I'm
that
living
I'm
like a
living like a
zombie, that I
zombie, that
check
I
all the
check all the
boxes, the
boxes, the
responsibilities
responsibilities
of
of
keeping food
keeping
on the
food on the
table,
table,
of
Mm-hmm.
keeping
of
the
keeping the
bills
bills
on,
on,
of
of
whatever
whatever
it
it
is
is
I
I
have to
have to
juggle in my
juggle in my
life.
life.
Mm-hmm.
And
And I
realized
realized through this journey that
I
I
became
became
spiritual,
spiritual,
and
and
I
I
decided to
decided to
follow this
follow this
purpose,
purpose,
A, because I
because
felt
I
it in my
felt it in my
heart,
heart,
but
but
B,
B,
I was
I was
paying
paying
Spirit
Spirit
back
back
for
for
not
not
dying.
dying.
Spirit kept
Spirit kept
me
me
from
from
dying.
dying.
Many
Many
times I
times I
attempted
attempted
suicide,
suicide,
and I was
and I was
grateful to be loved by
loved by
Spirit.
Spirit.
So
So
I
I
became of
became of
service
service
to
to
honor Spirit
honor
and to
Spirit and
pay
to
back.
pay back.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
I
I
have
have
not
not
been
been
putting
putting
back
back
into
into
my cup.
my cup.
So that
So that
still
still
allows
allows
me
me
to feel
to feel
resentful
resentful
and to
and to
feel
feel
all those
all
other
those
things
other
that
things that
happen when
happen
we're
when we're
batteries
batteries
running low.
running low.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Yes, somebody said living for everyone and everything else.
Yes, somebody said living
Instead
for
of
everyone
living for
and everything
ourselves.
else.
And so many people
Instead of
do
living
that.
for
As women,
ourselves.
we're
And
taught
so
we're
many
supposed to take
people
care of
do
our
that. As
kids.
women,
We're
we're
supposed to take
taught we're
care of
supposed to
our
take care of our
husbands, our
kids. We're supposed to
family,
take care of our
our loved
husbands,
ones. It
our
makes us a good
family,
daughter, it makes us
our
a good
loved ones. It
wife,
makes us
it
a good
makes us a
daughter,
good
it makes us a
mother.
good wife, it makes us a good mother.
And then we're
Mm-hmm.
resentful, and then we're exhausted, and then we're sad, and then we're depressed, and then we're angry.
And then we're sad, and then we're depressed, and then we're angry.
Yes. 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 And yes. So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Um, let me see how can I word this. Who were you living for before, and who are you living for now?
I was living for the image that I wanted others to see. I was living for the mirage. I was living for I was sold on the dream of being purposeful or being useful, or what I thought love should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I am attempting to understand and to rewire my brain to put myself first.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
if I can figure out how to explore, if I can figure out how to give myself the permission to be happy, then I will give better love. Give better love to my son, give better love to my partner, give better presence to my mother, to my
to my
godkids,
godkids,
to my
to my
godparents.
godparents.
I have to
I have to
stop
stop
living.
living.
I have to
I
let
have
go
to
of the
let go of the
responsibility, and I
responsibility,
have
and
to
I have
show
to
up
show up
where I
where I
want to
want to
because I
because
want
I
to.
want to.
Yes, 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 yes. This is so beautiful. I, from a spiritual perspective, I witness in many of the retreaters, beautiful sisters that were present, you included. I witnessed such a transformation, such a transformation. There was a part of the retreat, Soul Family, where we were at the vortex. And one of the vortex that we were at, the one that Spirit guided me to take the group to, that vortex had an energy that allowed each and every one of us to really like break and surrender, break and surrender. And there was a part during the healing that took place at the vortex where I truly saw parts of you, parts of your old self being shipped away. And what I saw in your face when I would look at you, I would see, I would see like literally oh shit moments, like acceptance. I saw acceptance. I saw you being vulnerable. I saw something like a cloud that just lifts off and allow you to really come into your true divine light. I saw that dynamic, that transformative aspect, and it was beautiful to see and witness for many different reasons. Needless to say, um, I believe you felt that, but I also believe that you walked out of there with the commitment of wanting to be proud of yourself and honor you with authenticity, without the weight, without the expectations, without the demands, without the what I need to do, the without what people will think, people will say, without the broken parts of our inner child. It was more of the sense of freedom, the sense of freedom. I saw the energy of freedom.
The vortex experience for me, um, and I think maybe the others would agree. There was a lot of truth delivered, memories, flashbacks, things that just kind of popped in, and a big wave of love and permission.
Hmm.
Permission of ourselves, or that was accompanied by the spiritual energy that was felt. It was such a charged experience. For me, I had flashbacks, so many flashbacks. While you were doing the healing, there were things that you were saying that were triggering, like, because you're plugged into the energy, and it's almost like they hit the nail, poof. And so at that moment something cracked open, and the things either came in or came out that resonated. I understood what you were saying because I was receiving examples where I could have been in denial, where I could not have, perhaps I didn't accept what you were saying. Let's just say, for example, if you were talking about pain, or if you were talking about shame, and I was resisting.
Hmm.
At that moment in time, due to that vibration, due to the space that was being held, all those moments and flashbacks of shame for not being enough of a partner, or shame for the personal shame that we feel when our parents make us feel less than, or the body shame, or whatever. And so even though it was hard, it was liberating because I didn't get to stay in my denial. And if I'm really honest, because I'm sure everybody's journey is different, you collected everything. Due to that retreat, I believe that there is more shadow that we live in light. And that's why we don't have the awareness that we need. You know, I had done shadow work before, I thought, but I hadn't looked in the mirror like I looked in the mirror this time, you know, and so there's been more work and more feelings. You collected truths, you served them to us, we had to take notes, we had to walk away with that, and I had to come home, and I had to decide. The moment where I said I had to decide whether I was going to live or die is, do I stay the same? Do I get busy on my everyday and continue as I was? Or do I face these truths?
Yes.
I'd never journaled like I journaled since my return. I'm the kind of person who buys a notebook every time she goes to Marshall's, to Ross, to Walmart, to Target. I see a cute notebook and I buy it. And so I write in all of these notebooks. This is the first time I go back to the journal you gave us, and the consistency of my feelings, good or bad, are in there. So I had to do more work when I came home. Was there freedom? Was there liberation? Yes. Did it feel positive at that moment? I was just broken open. You broke me open, and I guess so I can break free, you know. And so that's where it's at, and the work is not over.
Oh, no.
Because I can't trust myself. I can't trust myself to take the easy road, you know, or to take, you know, I can't trust myself to stay on the hard road. It's easier to get lazy. So that's why I'm still working.
Of course. So for our viewers, what would be one of your, for you, first steps into really diving into shadow work?
I'm sorry, repeat that question.
A lot of people say they do shadow work, but what is going through this experience? What would be your recommendation into really diving deep into shadow work?
You know why it's such a hard question? Because I didn't know that I wasn't, you know, and I don't know that I would have if I didn't do this. Like, I know, you know, everybody might think like, oh, well, you guys work together like in different things, or you're her godfather, but you know how I love Alicia. You know how I feel about my path, and you know, but this is my death work, and this is my rebirth work. And you were the vessel, and I think about it like I feel so raw and so exposed, and the old me would feel so weak because I don't share my private things. You know, and you know me because of your level of clairvoyance, not because I call you and say, I'm having this problem, or I feel so insecure right now. You know, through our work, you've gotten to know me. And at this retreat, I didn't stand a chance. I couldn't hide. And so I feel very blessed. But if the question is, where do I recommend people start, or why do people need this, is your whole life. Your entire heartbreaks, your paternal issues, maternal issues, the sexual abuse, the discomfort in your marriage, the discomfort with your body, the being less than, not feeling worthy, the, you know, not fitting in. You don't fit in your life or in this world because it's a world or image of this life that you have created for yourself. And so where would I start? What if nobody's responsible? What if nobody can help you? What if you are completely solo? What if you have one more chance to get it right? If God himself came down, or spirit came down and say, there is no other lifeline, there is no dial of friend, there is nothing or nobody but you and your thoughts and your self-reflection. You have one shot. to make
to
it
make
right,
it right,
how would you
how
live
would
your
you live
life
your
then?
life then?
Because that's
Because
how I
that's how I
feel.
feel.
Mhm.
I'm
I'm
looking at
looking at
everything
everything
all over
all over
again.
again.
Yes, 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 yes,
So I
yes.
don't know if
So I
that
don't know if that
answered your
answers
question, but
your
it's
question, but
such
it's
a
such a
huge
huge
question.
question.
There is no right and wrong answer. I don't believe there is a right and wrong answer, but I do believe that we have to give people a better understanding of what shadow work really is, because people sometimes say they do shadow work, and again, this does not mean that they do it intentionally to be deceitful to themselves, because all the only person that would be hurting at the end of the day would be themselves. But to really say that we do shadow work, we have to really break. If we do shadow work and we don't break, it's not shadow work, because there's so much that's that's so rooted and so immersed and so deeply buried in our childhood, in our formative years, right? There's so much that our upbringing has to do with shadow work, that we think shadow work is, the person that we dated last year, the person that we, had a fallout with, a friend that we had a fallout with 2 years ago, the failed marriage. No, no, that's actually the aftermath of what's hiding behind that. Behind that, there's something so much deeper, so much more, so much stronger, and so much more hurtful, and so much more, deeper. As I said, at a deeper level, that's what led you to the divorce. That's what led you to the breakup. That's what led you to the denial. That's what led you to be stuck in a job that you don't like. That's what led you to keep falling from relationship to the next relationship to the next relationship, and it's back there, and we bury that. So we, as Spirit told you, because that conversation we had during our shadow work retreat, Spirit said, you are being selective. You're being selective with what you want to, you're choosing what you want to heal. When in reality, you got to throw it all in, because if not, the healing will not take place, and you will go back being the same person. And I feel that that's really what did it. I feel that that's what opened you up in a different kind of way, and allowed what came after to take place. Because if not, you would have continued to show up to the next aspects, to the next parts of the shadow work, selecting what you wanted to address, and not.
Can I share? Look at this. Can I share a phrase that I wrote when I came back that
Yes.
for me encapsulates what I'm working at, what I'm working on because of this shadow work?
Hmm.
And this was from Spirit. It says, uh, "This path is a path seldom chosen, for it is the journey of the lone man, where nobody can take you, where no one can accompany you, only you, reflections of you, shadows of you, and the guiding light that drives you. You are brave, and for your bravery on this journey, you will find you."
Mm.
That
Powerful.
was that was a download. You know why? Because in being cracked open, and when you're vulnerable, and when you're crying and you're overwhelmed, the natural response is to make it better and shut it down. And at that, and I was already journaling on something else, and something switched, and I wrote that.
Hmm.
And that was the moment where it's just like, no, keep going. Because a lone path, a path seldom chosen, where nobody can go with me. So if I'm not willing to show up for myself, then
Hmm.
I'm not going to take that journey, because I don't have a tour guide, and I see all aspects of myself in that journey: the shadows, the reflections, what other people think, the voices that haunt me, the traumas that I've survived, But if you're brave enough to visit all of that, then you will find what you're seeking.
Yes. 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 It takes courage. It takes courage.
But can
Courage
I
is
ask you something? Like, for the listeners, how do we do this? Because you're talking to somebody who's been of service for a long time, and I did therapy for many years,
Mhm.
and I've been on the path for many years, and you think you're doing it and you think you know. So, as a facilitator, now I'm asking you, you know, how do you recommend that we sit still enough and be true enough and gutsy enough to try to be authentic enough?
That's a good question, and I don't believe again that that's something that has a right or wrong answer, and I don't believe that there's a one route, one way, black and white way to do it. But I do believe that it has to stem from the fact that you have to ask yourself first, is the way I have been doing it working for me? We don't ask ourselves that question. Many people want healing whilst wanting to still be in control of what they choose to do, how they want to do it, where they want to do it, and that's control. You have to be able to first ask yourself, is the way I'm doing it working for me? Because you have to know that the answer to that would be no. And when you accept that the way you have been doing it is not working for you, then it has to leave you open enough. You have to be open because some of us are closed down and shut down and we have walls around us. You have to be open to say, okay, I will now allow myself the freedom to take steps, or sometimes we have to get the guidance. Some of this work we can't do by ourselves because like was your experience, we don't know how to. Many people don't know how to. And sometimes reading something on Google, or reading something on a book is helpful, but it's not always going to give you all the tools you need to be able to get to the level of self-understanding, self-awareness, self-acceptance, and ultimately self-love that you need to possess. So when you accept that you have been doing it in a way that has not been 100% helpful for you, then you have to also be willing to say, I need guidance.
Yeah.
Well, what happens with guidance, the guidance part? Many people go to the guidance, right? We are readers, and we do this every day of our lives. Um, but even people come to readings and come to spiritual work with control issues, and they want to selectively hear what they want to hear, listen to. Okay, and
Yeah.
you need somebody that can tell you exactly what you don't want to hear. You need someone that can take you to levels that you don't want to go to. You need to be in a place where you can't, it's almost like when you're trapped. Something happened here with our IG. Interesting. Are they doing witchcraft on us here?
Something
Let's see.
happened with
Let's
Instagram.
ay 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 ay. Our IG went down. No. Okay, let's see here. Let's see if we can get back on IG because it went down. Is it still Mercury retrograde or what? It must still be Mercury retrograde. Let's see here. Let's see here. Bear with me, my soul family from YouTube. I'm trying to get us back live on IG because Mercury retrograde and IG are acting up. My. let's see here. I think we can do this. Add details. Okay. And now let's try to go live. And we're live again. I'm going to wait to see when I see you, bring you back.
Okay, I'm going to lower my volume on YouTube so it doesn't throw off the audio, okay?
My. IG is acting up, you all. IG is acting up, and it's still Mercury retrograde, so you know how that is.
My.
You know how that is, family.
IG is acting up.
So let's,
You all. IG is acting up, and it's still Mercury retrograde, so you know how that is.
Back in here.
You know how that is, so family. So let's, okay. I see.
And let's bring you back.
Bring you back in here.
There, request has been sent. Request has been sent. Are you on? There you are. There you are. Lord. I tell you. So we're back.
Look at the comments.
See?
Too hot for IG.
Exactly. It's too hot. It's too hot for IG, but we're not giving up, right? We're not giving up. So, I forgot what we were saying. Lord, baby Jesus.
We talked about guidance by others, professionals.
I think we were saying, we were talking about definitely how to really start this process and do it in a way that's truly beneficial for you, and how to really do shadow work. And I was saying that it needs to be from a place where you first accept the fact that the way you've been doing it has not changed your life. It's not bringing anything better in. You're not really changing your bad habits. You're not changing the people that you date. You're not changing the people that you bring into your life. You're not changing your quality of life. So you need to accept that maybe the way you are going about it, even though it's sincere and it's honest and you are trying your best, it's not getting you to the level where you want to be. That's level number one for me. And then from there's a moment where you have to be vulnerable enough to say, I may not be able, or I don't know how to do this by myself, and I have to find the right person that's able to guide me and that's able to really lead the way in helping me get to the bottom of who I am and how to surrender and how to rebirth myself again, because that's what shadow work really is, a process of rebirthing. But another thing that I want us to speak about and bring to the awareness of our viewers tonight is the fact that in the process of many people doing selective healing, because people do selective healing every day, shadow work is also about understanding the people that have hurt you along the way, and understanding that they themselves had limitations. They themselves had their own darkness that had not been addressed. They themselves come from broken places. They themselves were hurt. They themselves were people that went through God knows what. Not to give them a pass, not to give them, a pass for whatever pain they might have inflicted upon you, but understanding that holding grudges, understanding that being mad, understanding that wanting to retaliate, understanding that wanting to all those things are not going to help you in your rebirth. They're not. They're
Yeah.
not. Unforgiveness will not help you in your rebirth. It will not. And that is the hardest part of shadow work, I would say, in my opinion. That is the hardest part of shadow work. We can accept that we lie, that we deny, that we date the wrong people, that, we're not satisfied with X, Y, and Z, that we are judgy, that we are egocentric. We can accept many parts of ourselves when we are faced with it, but it's much more difficult to surrender, and it's much more difficult to not hold grudges and forgive the people that have hurt you along the way.
Yeah. I think that the biggest factor or reality that was most impactful to me was the realization that I was putting the responsibility on people I care about to make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Yes.
putting the responsibility of not failing me, not disappointing me, or disappointing me, and carrying like my happiness, my worth, my okayness depended on other people. And I put that on them. I put that on my son. Am I a good parent? Did I make him self-sufficient enough? Did I teach him how to clean right? Did I teach him how to have good habits? I reprimand him, I scold him, or whatever, because I dictate what's right or wrong. Am I seeing, am I loving him just for him? I think I'm being self-accepting or accepting of him. But the truth of the matter is that all my heartbreaks, all my past, all my stuff, like, that defined me. I let that define me. And my happiness is nobody's responsibility but myself. My
Yeah,
own.
there. Yep.
So I'm not going to walk with a template anymore. I can stay or not stay. I can put it down a boundary or not put down a boundary. I can share time because I enjoy this time and these people. My protection, my happiness, my balance is my responsibility to myself. So I cultivate my own life, my own happiness, and hopefully I can project that love out.
Okay.
And it's not easy. I'm not
Of
saying
course.
it's easy. They're words. But you're gonna put hope on a woman or on a man to love you right, to not betray you, to not lie. Do you have to check on their phone to see their texts? Do you have to get mad and moody when they're late? Do they call you enough? Did they text you fast enough?
Yes.
Is my mother appreciative of how I contribute to her livelihood or well-being? Is my sister thankful enough for the role that I play? Maybe they think they are, but I'm holding a standard. That's not their responsibility.
Exactly. So, since you went there, I want to ask you, how do you see your siblings and how do you see your mother differently now? And the reason I ask that is because, well, I know many things, but about you, but the way that this shadow worked for you, how are you seeing your parent differently and your siblings differently now, so that you don't continue to punish yourself the way you used to in the past for the things that they were doing or not doing or didn't know how to do?
It's a two-pronged experience now. I just had a test today. Okay. And factor number one is something happened that normally pre-retreat would have affected me, annoyed me, and I would have had to say something just to let the person know I saw this, you're being a jerk or whatever, you know. I caught the feeling like the words, and I was like, ooh, you're gonna go down this road, you're gonna play ping pong with them, and you are not gonna like it. Because I know this pattern. I know my snappiness. I know how it's going to cause an effect, you know, how it's going to affect somebody. And we're going to ping pong. And I know that I'm going to leave there annoyed. And I feel like I'm going to be right. And it's going to shit on my day, right? That was pre-retreat. So I caught myself and I was like, yeah, you're going to play that out. And you know how this is going to go. Don't say it. Don't say it. And I was sitting there, sipping my coffee, talking to myself. Don't say it. And then I turned around, and it was with my mom. And I looked at her, and I said to myself, in your narrative, you don't give her a chance to be a woman with all of her colors and all of her issues. This is not only the story that suits me. She's not only a mother. She's a woman with unresolved patterns and issues and bullshit. And I am dumping on her and still projecting on her and still being the moody little inner child that wants to throw a tantrum. So I was like, you know, I'm still going to have a good day. Never mind. It's not my... What she does with her things is not my business. And I picked it up. For about 5 minutes, I had to like... So I was like, let me go to the mailbox and get the mail, because they're old habits that have been running in my system for a long time. So I had to go walk to the mailbox and walk back just to chill out. And then I was okay. And guess what? I didn't have to engage in a 10, 15 minute sour conversation and be mad at her and hurt her feelings or be snappy for the rest of the day. So I effectively, just today, I just claimed victory over today. But today I handled it well.
Awesome. And when you do that, what do? You give yourself credit for it, and you become thankful of yourself for being able to recognize where you have changed. Because it's so much easier for us to put ourselves down and be hard on ourselves and, punish ourselves for what goes wrong than it is for us to praise ourselves. We were never really taught to praise ourselves. So the fact that you were able to do this, that deserves some praise. Not from the world necessarily, but it needs to come from you. I give myself props for being able to do something today that I didn't know how to, or probably would have not done in the past. So it's about being thankful to yourself for having been able to do it. So
thank you. But you know what I realized when I caught myself? I was like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of bitchy, kind of off, kind of frequently. Like in my own story, like I say what I want, I act how I want, and that story served my Broadway emotional stage. And if I decided now that I want to keep it simple, that I want to live in love, in the light with compassion, I needed to show my mother compassion in that moment, because I was making it an issue where an issue didn't need to exist. Just me, not my mom. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
My mom takes opportunities at her own time, and I'll deal with how let's see what happens when I have that assignment. But I realized that I'm pretty dramatic. I have a one-woman show happening all the time. So it also helped me to see, like, that was easy. You didn't have to do that, and you kind of do that a lot. So wish me luck.
Always. That's beautiful. How important do you believe? Because I want to tie this into how important it is. How important do you believe ancestral healing is for the purposes of shadow work. I believe it's tied very much in, and the reason I say this is because a lot of the characteristics, a lot of the behaviors, a lot of the emotions, a lot of our pains, a lot of our traumas are inherited or come from people that have already passed, or a lot of our pains have been inflicted upon us from people that have already transitioned. And here we are still, dealing in our fighting our shadow, doing what we do because of someone that did to me what he or she did to me when they were around, and now that they're since passed and they're not around. How important do you believe ancestral healing is?
Well, in the initial part of the retreat, you said, if your elders don't do the healing, what do we have left for the youth? That's how you started.
Mm-hmm.
That's the comment that you started on opening night with. And it played out in many ways. And so now being back, there is my going backwards from my generation, my mother, and my mother was raised by her mother. So I am molded and affected or created with the influence of my mother and how she was raised via her traumas and her issues. And she did the best that she could with the issues that her mother raised her with, and so on and so on. So I have the opportunity. You also said a statement. You said, are you going to spend time reliving in your history, living in your history, or are you going to get busy creating your legacy?
Mm-hmm.
And so it can stop with me. I can inherit a different vibration, a different way of being. But we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
The victories, the oppression, the traumas, all of that has created us, has molded us, our families, our lineage, our country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very much so. Very much so.
And so how do I learn to disengage from the part that I don't want to inherit the history, but I do want to celebrate the victory and build on that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, and yes. Which is why ancestral healing is so important. People get turned off a lot by, for example, I was speaking with my girlfriend about it. People get turned off a lot about ritual, because of course our minds and our brains are influenced by our beliefs. They're influenced by the religious environment that we grew up in, or the spiritual environment that we grew up in. It sets the tone for what we choose to believe or not. But ritual is nothing more and nothing less than something that we do with our heart, and we do it repeatedly, and it's a repeated action that we do, right? But ritual is also reverence. Ritual is also communion. Ritual is also rendering. It's also a relationship that we build with the divine, right? In the way that we build a relationship with the divine, I mean. So I want to tie in how important ancestral healing really is, because part of the reason why we don't heal the things that we have to heal and release is because we have not done the ancestral healing in our life. We have not let go. You know what? And I'm feeling a vibration coming in right now. There are many people on this live that are still fighting the ghost of the person that abused you, and that person is either 80 years old today or has already died, or you're fighting the ghost of the person that abused your mother, and that person that abused your mother was the reason why she raised you the way she raised you, or didn't give you the love that she would have wanted to give you or didn't know how to, the love that you would have wanted to receive from her, but she was emotionally paralyzed because she was abused. So even though we never even met, didn't even know the person that probably abused our mother, the way that she chose to raise you has an effect on how you live your life and how you show up for yourself. This is why ancestral healing is so important. That's just one of countless of scenarios of how we are affected by ancestral vibrations. And yes, granted, we can be affected by it in a positive way, and we can also be affected by it in a negative way. So ancestral healing is not just about dealing with those traumas, but it's also about saying thank you to the ancestors that are standing by our side, that are protecting us, that did the best that they knew how to, that are a beacon of light in our life and is on a spiritual level, which is why many of you have not been successful with your suicide. Many of you have not been successful with other things that could have destroyed your life. Many of you are not in jail. Many of you are not in a hospital bed dying. Why? Because you have these ancestral vibrations and energies that are standing by your side, guarding you. Ancestral healing is also about saying thank you. But for the purposes of our life, which is shadow talk, ancestral healing is important for shadow work because so many people have done, and this goes along with the question that you asked me. You asked me a question. You said, okay, you're talking to somebody that has done spiritual work for a long time, for 30 years. So I kind of know my way in and out, even though this shadow work, and I'm paraphrasing, even though this shadow work was the one thing that really broke me in ways that other rituals and other religious ceremonies haven't broken me before. um, but for the ones that don't even know how do they start? And I said, well, we have to first start by recognizing that what we have tried to do and the way we have been doing things is not working. Number one. But number two is about ancestral healing because we have to go back there. Why do I say that? Because so many are under attack. Under attack by who or what? Under attack by the memory, under attack by the history, under attack by the abuse, under attack by the trauma that either happened directly, physically to you, or it happened to the parent that was absent in your life. It happened to the parent that didn't raise you correctly. It happened to the parent that couldn't show you love. It happened to the parent that couldn't show up for you. And it affected your life. It affected your emotional relationship with yourself. It affects how you show up in relationships, romantic relationships, personal relationships. It affects how you feel about yourself, lack of self-worth, lack of self-value. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not intelligent. I'm stupid. I'm this and I'm that. This stems from what your caretaker went through. The person that raised you went through, which is why so many people do the work and they still don't feel the healing. They do the work and they don't feel. They do what they consider to be the work. Let's rephrase that. They do what they consider to be the work, and they still don't feel free. They still don't feel whole. They still don't understand themselves. Could it be possible that is because there's energies? What energies am I talking about? Am I talking about the person that did witchcraft on you, that you think did witchcraft on you, or the one that's texting you? No, 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 no. That's today bullshit day age stuff. I'm talking about the vibration of the energy of the person that traumatized your lineage, traumatized your family.
You know, when I was in junior high, and you first start to take history, U.S. history, world history, and then you go into high school. I hated history, and I didn't know that it was. I didn't think, why is it useful? Who cares what happened in the War of 16, whatever? You know, who cares what happened in the. I didn't care. I didn't know then that history repeats itself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know then that we battle the same rooted issue as a nation, as a culture. We battle the same old wounds wounds and patterns that our predecessors have fought for. Equality, civil rights, everything. History is important, and we are the children of those effects, of those consequences in flesh and bone.
Yes.
And it's no different on the spiritual realm. It took 2 parents to get us here, 4 grandparents before that, 8 great grandparents, and so on and so on. For you to be here today, it took a chain of people. And you want the equality? You want to have the same kind of wages that your peers have? You want to be able to have the right to choose what you do with your body? On a spiritual level, we have the same responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And that requires honoring, reverence, healing, light,
Yes.
prayer.
Yes. 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 And yes. And yes. And for those of you that are under possession, and I say this sarcastically, but I do mean it, what I say, under possession by the denial, spirit of denial, every lower level energy and vibration, I call it a spirit because it's true. It's a spirit. Denial is a spirit. Depression is a spirit. Anxiety is a spirit. It's a spirit. Suicide is a spirit. All these things are spirits that try to steer us away from our own light and steer us away from where we should be. So for those of you that are under possession of this kinds of spirits, there's going to be some parts of you that are resistant to doing the much needed work. But the reason that I bring this into the opening conversation with Magda, because, you know, number one, she is a healer herself, and a spiritual healer, and someone that has done the work and continue to do the work, especially now to this particular shadow work. You know, she's made new commitments for herself, and I know that she understands the importance of shadow work, but also the importance of ancestral healing, which all go hand in hand. The resistance that you might feel is because there's an energy of vibration that does not want you to get the healing, that does not want you to, you know, be free from the negative history, from the patterns, the behavioral patterns that keep you acting the same way you continue to act, relationship after relationship, job after job. Which is why I sincerely, truly invite you, because we know we're not going to keep you here for 2 hours tonight, but you know, I sincerely, truly invite you to look into the ancestral healing ritual. The ancestral healing ritual that we're doing on November 6th is for all these reasons. It's really for all these reasons and much more. You know, is to really cut those cords, is to really kind of sort of rewrite that soul contract that we made when we came in here, right? Into this realm, into this world. And it's also to allow us room and freedom to look at ourselves differently, to experience ourselves differently, to see. Because let me tell you something. If we can only see one little part of ourselves differently than we did yesterday, it's enough energy and power to propel us forward, to keep digging deeper and discovering what more. If I can see that little part of me and I like it, how much more is there that I yet to see and it's not visible to me? And I need to give it my all to discover him or to discover her so that I can cut the cords from what I used to be. I did a reading today, and Spirit said to my client, if you continue, you have to, no, Spirit said to my client, you have to make a commitment to be different. You have to make a commitment to be different. Don't worry about how, because we get stuck in the how. Part of the reason, food for thought, part of the reason why we never get to where we need to get to is because we get stuck in the how. How am I going to do it? How is it going to happen? and but I don't know how to. And every time I try, it never works. We get stuck in the house. The house, another spirit that hides in there, so we get stuck there, so we never get to where we need to get to. Right? I digress. Um, Spirit said to my client, "You have to make a commitment to be different and to do it differently and be a new person. Because unless you become a new person, you will still be the old you. And the old you can only take you to places it's only been.
Yes.
The
Say that
old
again.
you can never take you to
Say
a
that again.
place that you've never been. The old you can never take you to the place that you should be at. The old you can never show you the new you. It can never. So this is a commitment. A commitment. I believe, I feel, let Magda share her thoughts. She does not have to agree with me. And no, I do not pay Magda to agree with me. Okay? Because some of
Who
you
would
all are
say
devil
that?
advocates. Some of you are devil advocates. The shadow work gave each and every one of us permission to discover the new us. Because
Yes.
something inside of us said, the way I've been is not going to take me to my new place. The way I've been is never going to take me to my new place. And that it's all of the above. The way I think, the way I act, the way I speak, the way I process things, the way of what I believe, how I commune, how I treat my spirituality, how I am in relationship with my spirituality is not gonna take me to my new place. This is why ancestral healing is so important. This is why shadow work is so important. And one leads into the other. Very important. Very important. I don't know why, and I don't like to jump back and forth with different things, but as I speak, spirit also, as I speak, spirit keeps continuing to speak in me. And I want to ask you now, Magda, how do you, how do you see your son now? How do you hug your son now? How do you talk to your son now? How do you experience your son now after the fact, after the shadow work for you?
I came back. Let me be honest about how I came back. I came back so high on emotions and so like, oh, I feel so great. And I told everybody. And then a couple of days later, I was still raw, I was still oozing, right? But I had this need to get these things done. So I had these conversations and I shot. I thought it was so clear. I shot these things I thought I needed to say and do. The new renovated me came to fix things, right? And then a couple of days after that, then I was in my feelings and I was like, ooh, you really unloaded so fast. Like these new emotions, who were you kidding or who were you selling it to? And the truth of the matter is, I was trying to sell it to myself, but I reacted quicker than I should have. So after those few days, now that I'm sitting with a fractured ego, trying to be more humble and more compassionate, I realize, and I have to tie it to the ancestral healing, is I did what I knew to do as a parent. And while I was parenting my son, I tried to do it better than my mother. I'm gonna whatever, and da 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 da. And sometimes all they need you to do is be present. All they need you to do is to listen, to hear, to hold, to stay connected in the moment. And I was so busy trying to make him a good man on my image alone, on my experience alone. So I've come back a better listener. I've come back willing to be present and trying to hug a little bit more, because I'm a little bit uncomfortable in personal space. And I realize, like, I want to enjoy him while he's still here under my roof. You know, I want to be present in everything that I do. So I keep on repeating, I don't want to be a broken record a day at a time, but I'm no longer blaming him, or I'm trying not to blame him on what he's not doing based on my image, but I'm trying to see him for who he may be becoming.
Yes, yes, yes. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You know what I see? I see a woman that has broken a curse. I see a woman that has broken major curses. One major curse is one that we were speaking about the other day, and that's of how unintentionally, but really knowingly, unintentionally, but really knowingly, if that makes any sense, you're not attempting to live through him, and you're not attempting to make him responsible for your ego's safety.
Yes, yes. I hope people understand that.
Hello,
I hope people
because
understand that.
our parents make us responsible for their ego's safety.
Listen, guys, you are doing the best job that you can as parents, but you're using them to judge yourself as a good or bad parent, and you're making them responsible for your feelings.
Yes.
And that's
yes.
not fair.
Yes. I take my son, I take my daughter, and you don't appreciate me, and you don't appreciate what I do. That's actually your inner child that didn't feel appreciated by mom, that didn't feel appreciated by father, because dad left, because dad didn't come back, because dad didn't show up in your sweet 15s, because dad didn't show up to your football game, because dad didn't teach you how to deal with boys, because dad didn't teach you how to be a man. That is your ego.
Yes.
Depending on your son or daughter to make you happy for each and every moment in time that your caretaker, your parent, failed you, didn't know how to protect you, didn't know how to raise you, didn't know how to say I love you, didn't know how to say you're worthy, didn't know how to say I love you, because many of you have never even heard from your parents I love you.
Yep. And you know what? You know what I heard as you were starting to say that is, I am my ancestors and my ancestors' army. Like, we are working at the same time, both to elevate. Both, we have to finish the work that they haven't finished, or that they're continuing to work on their realm. We have to understand that we are one with source, that these lessons enlighten our own path, change the, maybe not the history, but the legacy or the future. For all those things you didn't receive, allow them to have the chance, allow them to be. And we fill our mouths to validate ourselves as parents. I let them be who they want to be. I support that. I blah, blah, blah. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about them now. They didn't ask to come to this world. So we owe it to change the system.
Yes. 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 This is also how we mistakenly sometimes fall. I say we collectively because that's not my case, but some people, as a child, as a son or as a daughter, become their parents' parent. Their parents' parent. So and that's dangerous, to parent your parent when you are unprotected along the way. when you are not supported the way you deserve or need to be along the way. It's a it's a slippery slope. It's very dangerous, you know. And sometimes, you know, many people have been okay with it, and they have learned how to navigate, you know, through that process, but it doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't make it any easier.
And then what kind of parent do we become to our parent now, our older version of us? Because let me tell you, I love my mom, but am I the nicest version? No. Do the outside see that? No. I mean, I'm not salty, I'm not mean, but I'm not patient. I'm not embracing and mushy. So whatever it is that my inner child really wanted from her, and now that I have the chance to parent her back differently or to love her back differently, I'm exactly the kind of parent that she was to me. Short, dry, I'm polite, I do what I need to, I care for her, I love her. But my love is not transparent, and it's not warm the way my inner child wanted to receive it from her. So I'm parenting her back as an adult now the same way she parented me.
And that's what makes you the parent you used to be for your son, not the one you are today, not the one you will continue to be tomorrow, but this parent that you were for your son is exactly what you vowed yourself to never be, but to end up being. This is why ancestral healing is so important.
Yes.
There was a comment here a few minutes ago by Miss Janelle Duff9. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. It said, it's so difficult to parent my parents. Why I am here. You know, I bet you anything that your parent had abandonment issues or had issues with their own parents to a degree where they didn't feel protected or didn't feel loved. And that burden was in some form or way placed on you. Which is why this is still ancestral. It's really why it's ancestral. Those vibrations of those ancestors that didn't do for your parents what they could have done or would have done or wanted to do, didn't know how to, is what provoked your parents to be the way they were, the way they are, which is why you feel with the responsibility that was laid upon you to mother them, to protect them, to be there for them, to have answers for them that sometimes you don't even know. You don't even know, but you feel. I feel this so hard. You see? Okay. You know, this is so important. This is why ancestral healing is so important, you guys. It's so important. Another question that came through that I saw just a minute ago was from Ms. Gabby Z, was about the workshop. The workshop, it's not a workshop, it's a ritual, an ancestral healing. And if you guys want information about that, the link is in my bio. Click the link on my bio. Okay. And there you can click on where it says Ancestral Healing Ritual 2021, and it will take you there, and you can follow all the prompts to find out what it is all about and sign up for it. But yeah.
I want to add something. It might be a little left, but I'm, for those people who already took one round of ancestral healing, but you're here, and this includes myself, every time you revisit it, don't think that because you did it, it's done and you walked away with understanding and you gave light to your ancestors and you checked that box, and that doesn't apply to you.
Yes.
Today, you are a different woman and a different man than you were 6 months ago or a year ago. The amount of weight or density or chains that needed to be broken could have been much deeper, or they're now from a different angle, or who you are as a recipient is different now. We still have the responsibility. If no wonder Spirit said to me right now, I am you and you are me. There is a timeline, and then time isn't linear. When we heal our future, when we heal our present, we also heal the past. Energetically, there's an exchange. For us to give them light empowers that vibration, empowers them as a vibration to be able to be a guiding light that reflects upon us as well. So for whatever reason, it was a necessity for me to say, yes, you think you checked this box, check it again, because who you are today is not who you were yesterday.
Ashe, Ashe. And on top of that, I will also add the fact that it's so interesting to me how, when it comes to do with healing work, with self-love, with spiritual work, we feel the, like, as you said, we check the box. Oh, I checked the box. I don't have to do this shit again. I checked the box. But then yet we can go to the massage today and have another massage tomorrow and have another facial every other week and
So
have
different.
our nails done every other week. It means that spiritual work is continuous. It's not a one-time deal. The same way, you need a massage today, and a month later or 2 months later, you will need a massage because you have a muscle that got, montado in Spanish. I don't know, I forgot how to say that in English. Se montó el músculo, and you have certain
Like a
new aches
Charlie
and
horse
pains.
or knot or a spasm.
Exactly. New spasm, new knots, and what have you. Spiritual work is the same way. Spiritual work, it's the same way.
I just pulled a prayer because I needed to get more clarity on why you need this. You know why? Because old version of you died, or old version of you is dying. Because all in all, this is about a rebirth. So if you need to continue to shed that skin, if you have a need to let this old you that you're working on go, then you still need to come through. Old versions of us are dying
Yes.
daily.
And let me tell you something. Okay. No, I'm not selling. I'm not selling. But to be clear, I like clarity. I like clarity. No one has asked me, but I'm that kind of person that I get into people's brain and I assume what people think sometimes. Yes, I am that kind of person. So I know that some people maybe who either participated last year in the ancestral healing and are debating, considering, doubtful about participating this year, or people that wanted to participate last year and didn't get an opportunity to, and now, would like to participate this year. I know, even though no one has reached out to me, no one has said anything to me, no one has asked me, no one, nothing. I know that one question in some people's brain is, wow, he upped his price, from last year. And my answer to that question, to whomever thought about it and hadn't asked me, is that last year I went through, my God, not to put her on the spot, and that's not my attempt, but Magda knows,
All the
and
gazillion candles and all the setup and the hours
my
that took.
my better half also knows I sometimes undervalue the amount of work that this takes. You cannot even imagine how much work it takes. And what you don't see is everything that goes on behind the curtains, behind the scenes, right? You don't see how I am up until 2 and 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning making candles, making sure that each and every single candle has everything that it needs to have so that the ritual itself is successful for you. You don't see how, even though I have a plan for what it is, and I'm in the middle of making certain candles and certain things, and spirit tells me, maybe because I'm looking at the names that were sent to me. I kid you not, this happened to me last year. I'm looking at the names that were sent to me for the ancestors that are included in the ritual, and something in me says, well, this candle for this particular ritual is going to need this and this and this and that. I'm like, oh fuck, okay, fine. And I don't have those things in front of me. Now I gotta wait until tomorrow, and I gotta go. You don't know the amount of work and energy and the toll it takes in one's body to be able to do something with morale, with ethics, with transparency, with truth, because unfortunately, I also understand, I know for a fact, hence Magda has now become one of them. I've been one of them for a long time now, for a year now, where we've been what's the word? Fished? Is it fished? Is it
Catfished.
catfished? You know, there's so many fucked up people out there. There's so many charlatans. There's so many make believes. There's so many, you know, people that have no regard, no respect for spiritual work. What does that do? It fucks it up for those of us that dedicate our lives and come into this and continue to do this with love, loyalty, integrity, and morale. Because then it's like, wait a minute, you know,
Can-
this is it confuses a lot of people. But I cannot talk about for anybody else. I can only speak for me. Magda can't speak for anybody else. She can only speak for herself. We know the kind of work this takes and what it brings on. Last year, when I did the ancestral healing ritual, even my own black eyes didn't know how much it would be, you know, to do this ancestral healing ritual, to the sense where, and what am I speaking about right now? I'm speaking about, I have never done something that literally after the ancestral healing ritual, it literally knocked me down for 6 days. It knocked me down. Like it knocked me down. I wasn't even ready for that. I didn't even know, because I'm always used to, you know, punch, 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 do. And not to be sarcastic, and I'm not trying to be, you know, funny here, but it's the truth. It's easier for us to go to the mall. I'm one of them. So I'm not even, I'm not coming at anybody. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to insult anybody. You know, it's easier for us to go to the mall and buy ourselves a pair of pants that we like, and buy ourselves a pair, buy ourselves a purse. It's easier for us to go on Amazon and order shit. But when it comes to spiritual work, when it comes to our own healing, when it comes to our own growth, when it comes to our own better well-being, mentally, physically, spiritually, energetically, it's so hard for us to make the investment. Guess what? To me personally, this is my personal opinion. Don't listen to me. I'm just one person. That's also sometimes is a negative ancestral vibration. A negative ancestral vibration that doesn't want you to heal, that doesn't want you to be free, that doesn't want you to be different, that doesn't want you to be freed from that old version of yourself that keeps you stuck in places and in things that don't promote you to your highest vibration. You were going to say something, Magda.
If we, for the people who stayed, you know, some people know me. They know how much I share. They know how they follow you. They know your output. I don't believe it fair or necessary for you to have to explain or justify how much work you need to do.
Oh no,
Because
no.
let me finish. The shadow retreat has the promise, if I can put it into effect, to change my life entirely, to change the foundation of how I experience everything that I have built. And it has the potential to change how I choose to live from that day forward. So, if you can spend on Amazon, if you can buy a pair of shoes, if you can go to Target, because you know you throw down $300 when you go to Target. If you matter, because those pair of shoes, that outfit, that whatever, you know, worth a few selfies, and then what? You know, if you want it, and if you believe that you are, and that's the importance, believe that you are worthy.
Uh,
Believe that you are worthy for this healing. Take the chance on you. Invest in you. If you told me today, Magda, I am planning for the retreat for 2022. And if
which
you
I,
said to me,
which I am.
it's going to cost $4,700, old pre-shadow retreat, I would have been like, oh my gosh, blah, 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 scarcity. But now I have to believe Spirit walks with me. I have to believe that if I can fork up the money for something else, I can start to save today. And some way, somehow, I'm going to figure it out. And I'm going to go to that retreat, whether it costs $2,000, whether it costs $4,000, whether it costs $5,000. Because my work is never going to be done. My epiphanies have a chance to continue. And because my philosophy from here on going forward is I am worthy. I want it. I will do it for myself.
Ashe, 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 and ashe. Now that you said those words, which were very, very much present in our shadow work retreat, what was your favorite, and it's probably a hard question, what was your favorite experience, moment during the shadow work retreat? Not just from the aspect, I don't think I'm asking this question from the part from an aspect of what broke you, what made you, you know, that part that you know. What was your, like,
oh my gosh. Okay, so I have two. One of them is a moment, and one of them is something that just fed me something new. My moment was at the vortex, and the energy got hot. And then one of our soul sisters, we know who she is, started to play second chair energetically, right?
yes,
She's
yes,
like, no more. And he's breaking chains, right? He's like, he's channeling and he's giving you, and he's like, and no more of this and no more of that. And she's like, no more. Like, when that behavior that threatens to show up, and I'm like, nope, not doing that. No more. The electricity in that moment, the vibration, the second chair, the tears that were shed, the vortex, the sun, like there was no other moment like that. But my takeaway, so he had this moment every day where we were doing affirmations with mala beads, right? And if you know anything about mala beads, there is 108 beads in a string of mala beads. And so he had this affirmation, I am worthy, being one of them, right? And so 108 times you're going to say, I am worthy, right? So you're like, I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy times 8, I am worthy times 12, right? I'm worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy. Somewhere, each and every day, about maybe 36, 40, I am worthy, or whatever the day's affirmation was, it changed from I am worthy to I am worthy, you know, because there was a moment that it switched from the conscious into your being and into your heart. And at first it was a repetitive, awkward sentence. I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy. And then you said it so much that one of those, two of those leaked into your heart, down deep into your heart, into your tummy, you know, and you had to realize that you were saying these words over and over that you did not feel, and you were not going to stop until 108 times sank into your being and something chipped away of the shell each and every morning when we prayed those mala beads together.
yes, yes,
And that was a new practice for me. I had never done that. And you can get your mala beads and you can buy them. But if you're serious and you say these affirmations, mala beads or no mala beads, you're going to feel weird. It's new. But something in those chants, something in that persistence comes and washes over you. And when I broke, it was a mercy call. It was a mercy call between me and the universe, shaking, like asking, like, please, please, please make me feel this way, or this is my new truth. And by the time that it was over, you were in it. You're like, I am worthy. So those were two moments for me that changed the game.
Yes, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I want to acknowledge beloved Modern Guru TV, you know, for your beautiful, beautiful, heartfelt comment here. You know, thank you so very much for your beautiful comment. He says those are your values, not in the work you do. It's the
very
here,
much
Irvine,
for
you
your
hold for
grateful
us.
comment. She
The
says
channel you
the
open
pursuit of your
up
values not in
and
the work
let
you
flow through you is called. It's
do.
called
It's the
Shock
pure
Teapot. Okay,
Irvine you
that's
hold for
something
us.
new that I'm learning
The
tonight.
channel you open up
Just your
and let
presence
flow
and
through you
silence
is called
is the example. Thank you so
is
very much for that.
called
I appreciate you deeply. Thank you so very much.
shop
You
teapot.
know,
Okay,
um,
something new that I'm
Spirit
learning
knows
tonight.
what we are worth.
Yeah.
Just
For
your
some reason,
presence in
on
silence
IG,
is the example.
Magda
Thank you so
is
very much for that. I appreciate
stuck
you deeply. Thank you
on
so very
IG.
much. You know,
It feels like she
Spirit knows what we're worth. For
dropped
some
off
reason,
from
on
IG.
IG, Magda is
Yeah, she
stuck
dropped off from IG.
on IG.
Hopefully she can come back
It feels like she
here on IG. Let's see
dropped
here
off
because
from
my main
IG.
screen it's still circling, but on my backup
Yeah,
here that
she
I have,
dropped off
when
from
I'm
IG.
looking at, she's not on
Hopefully she
screen
can come
anymore.
back
But anyway,
here
do you
on
all see her?
Send
IG.
you a
Do you all still
request.
see her on this
See
on the
this
screen?
on
Because I
my
still have
main
her on the
screen.
screen on my end, even if it's
It's
frozen.
still circling, but
Anyway,
on
Modern
my
Guru
backup
TV,
here
thank
that
you
I
so
have
very
that I'm
much
looking at,
for those words.
she's
Spirit
not on the
knows our
screen
worth.
anymore. But anyway,
Spirit knows
do you all see her? Do you all
the
still see
energy
her
that we bring
on
in.
the screen? Because I
Spirit
still have
knows
her on
our
the screen on
value.
my end, even
Spirit
though
knows
it's frozen.
what we
Anyway,
try
Modern Guru
to
TV, thank you so very
do each and
much
every day
for those words. Spirit knows our worth. Spirit knows the energy that we bring
spirit,
in.
to represent the
Spirit knows
universe,
our
to represent
value.
the divine.
Spirit knows
And as
what
long as we
we
go to
try
bed every night and wake
to
up
do each and
every
every day to
morning
represent
with our conscious clean and surrendering to the
spirit,
power
to
of
represent
spirit,
the universe, to represent the
that's all that
divine.
we can do.
And as
That's
long as we
definitely
go to
all that
bed
we can do.
every night
Well,
and wake up
my
every
beloved soul
morning
family,
with our
um,
conscious
well, Magda
clean
has fallen
and
out from
surrendering to the power of spirit,
IG. She's still
that's
on
all
YouTube
that we
with
can
me,
do.
but she's
That's
falling off
definitely
from
all that we can
IG.
do.
I want
Well,
to say thank you
my
for
beloved soul
tonight,
family,
Magda. I want to say thank you for
Magda has
tonight. Thank you for
fallen
bringing your
out
energy. Thank
from
you for sharing your
IG.
experience,
She's still on
and that's
YouTube
so
with me,
personal and
but
so
she's falling
so
off from
beautiful.
IG.
I
I want to
hope
say thank you
and
for
it is
tonight,
my prayer
Magda.
that
I want to say thank you
each
for
and every
tonight.
one
Thank
of
you
our
for bringing your
viewers
energy. Thank you for sharing
were able to
your
take something
experience, and
away
that's so personal and
from
so
our
beautiful.
live tonight.
I hope,
My soul
and
family,
it
those
is
of
my
you
prayer
that
that
are interested
each and
in
every
the
one of our
ancestral
viewers
healing ritual, if you are
were
part of
able
my
to take
IG
something
family,
away
click the link in my bio,
from our
and
live
there you
tonight.
can search for the
My soul
ancestral
family,
healing ritual tab, which I believe is the second tab.
only those of you that
Once you
are
click the link,
interested in
and
the
then it'll
ancestral
take you to the ancestral healing ritual page,
family,
and there you
the
can get all
link in my
informed
bio,
about the
and
ancestral
there
healing
you
ritual,
can search for
and you
the
can sign up.
ancestral healing
Okay,
ritual
you can
tab,
sign up in full,
which I believe is
or
the
there is a
second
payment
tab.
option for you to do. If you
Once you
cannot
click
put
the link,
all
and
upfront, all at
then
once,
it'll
there is
take
a
you
payment
to
option
the
for you.
ancestral healing ritual
And those
page,
of you here on
and there you can
YouTube
get all
land,
informed
you can
about
go
the
to my
ancestral healing
website, which
ritual,
is down on the
and
banner
you
at the
can
bottom
sign
of
up.
the screen.
Okay, you can
You can
sign
go
up
to
in
my
full,
website,
or there is a payment
Spiritual
option for you to do.
and
If you
there
cannot
you
put
can go to
all upfront,
events
all at once, there
section
is a payment option
and click
for you.
on
And those
Ancestral
of you
Healing
here
Ritual
on
2021,
YouTube land,
so you can get
you can go to
all
my website,
informed
which is
and
down on the
sign
banner at
up.
the bottom of the screen.
I promise you that
You
this
can
is
go to my
something
website,
that you
Spiritual
don't want to
Dr.
miss,
Afi,
especially
and
not
there
trying
you
to
can go
scare
to
anybody.
events section
This is part of our
and
downloads,
click
part of my
on
downloads.
Ancestral
We
Healing
haven't
Ritual
talked about it, but
2021,
I'm pretty sure that
so
Magda
you
have
can get
had
all
similar
informed and
downloads as
sign
well.
up. I
Um,
promise you that this is something that you don't want to
2022,
miss,
we
especially
need to
not trying to
be
scare anybody.
like have all our
This
tools
is part of
together.
our
We need to
downloads, part of my downloads.
definitely
We
know
haven't
what's
talked
up,
about it, but I'm pretty
you know,
sure
when
that
it
Magda
comes
have
to
had similar
2022,
downloads as
because
well.
it's not going to be an easy year. If we
2022,
are
we
wasting
need
time
to
still in
be
our old shit,
like
still
have
living
all
in
our
the old
tools
version of our
together. We need
shadow,
to
still doing what we're not supposed to
definitely
do,
know
still
what's up,
in denial of a
when
lot
it
of
comes
things,
to
you know, it's
2022,
going to
because
hurt us
it's not going to be an
a
easy year.
whole
If we
lot.
are wasting
So
time
we
still
have to
in our
get ready.
old
We have to
shit,
gear up.
still
We have
living
to
in the
gear
old
up for
version of our
2022.
shadow, still
We have to
doing
do
what we're
all
not
that we
supposed
have
to
to
do,
do so that
still
we
in
are
denial of a
prepared
lot of things.
to really rise, to step up, to shine, to be the best version of ourselves, to be a better parent, to be a better partner, to be a better human being for ourselves. Okay, especially with all the changes that are going on in this world, because there are a lot of changes that are going on in the world. And I don't want to use certain words because we know how the algorithms work, and we know how a lot of pages are being blocked and shut down because of a lot of things. So I'm going to refrain from using certain words and terminologies, but the world is changing. So we need all the backup, all the assistance, and all the guidance and all the help we can get. Okay, we need it. Okay, we need it so that we don't find ourselves in a worse situation that we are already in at this particular moment. So therefore, my soul family, I sent a little request to Magda on IG to see if she can come back and just say bye. Let's gear up. Let's gear up. We got to do the work. Don't let the negativity in your life convince you that you can't do what you need to do. Basically, okay. So it is my deepest prayer that you at least research this and look into it. Okay, the information is there. It's very self-explanatory, and it's informative because I like to be very clear in the things that I do. So therefore, click the link in my bio, okay, and there you will be able to see what you need to see and sign up for the ancestral healing ritual. It's a couple of weeks away. It's in November 6th, right around the corner. If you have any questions, I'm here. DM me, message me. And that's all, folks, for the night. Thank you so very much for listening to us, for being open, for allowing vulnerability to be present. I love each and every one of you all. Much, much, much love, my IG family. YouTube, over and out. Mag, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Much love, my IG family. YouTube,
au revoir.
over and
Nos
out.
fuimos.
Max, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.